We're joined in studio now with Daniel Griffee, head coach of the East Carteret boys basketball team. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Daniel Griffee says in the Carteret County News-Times preview story for the upcoming season that his team is a blank page.
No words.
100%. Don't even know the players except for 2 of them.
It's like that. Where
Yeah,
it's not just
well, 3
did
total.
Did you have name tags on the first day of practice?
Yeah, I had to
I'm
what's
Daniel.
your name?
Yeah.
What's your name? How you spell that? Yeah, it was. I mean,
I was at practice one day when you didn't know. You were like, "What's your name? What's your name?" Sorry, I don't know your name.
And that was JV kids.
Yeah.
wow.
And a lot of names get confused, and it's just like, hey, you go there type
Sure.
deal.
I think that day you said, "What's your name?" He said his name. You said, "That don't sound right. I'm gonna start calling you this."
Yeah, that has happened.
Well, and then of course on top of that, you're also, I'm sure, teaching some fundamental things that you have not had to teach the past few years.
how to pass the ball, thinking about rotation on the spin of the ball. See guys throw a knuckleball. I don't know how you do it, but kids do it. Throw a knuckleball
Finding a
and
way.
pass.
Yeah.
It's just been they haven't been
how to set a
taught.
screen.
They haven't been taught that stuff
Yeah.
at a younger age. Which, when you got to teach that stuff at a varsity level, it's not a good foot to start on.
I joked the other night. You're teaching remedial basketball this season.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and I've done it before. It's just I've not done it to this extent, where literally you had Braden Johnson, who's a senior, Jaden Watson, who's a senior. Jaden played a lot sophomore, junior year. Braden never got off the bench, and then you got Lucas Styron, who was a JV guy that wanted to stay after practice and loves basketball, and I'd keep him in the gym to give me an extra player at practice last year.
So you got
But
three
he had
guys.
no playing experience. I put him up for the playoffs. He scored 1 point. So
You got one guy that got played.
one guy, yeah.
Yeah,
That's wild.
that's tough. On the other hand, you said there's part of you that's like you feel revitalized because you're like, I'm going to learn. I'm going to flex some coaching muscles this winter.
I don't know if I'm gonna flex coaching muscles. I've
But it's a
always
true test.
questioned myself, but
Yeah.
now I get to see and I've always said this too. You could go into 2 interviews. A guy has on paper his record is exceptional, and a guy has on his paper his record is not exceptional, but he's a better coach. When you go in that interview, the guy with the better record is probably gonna get the job. But I get to really see just how well I can perform as a coach, and it's not necessarily going to convert into wins. How much growth do the players get? If they come back next year, do I have to start at page 1, or can we start at page 25?
Sure.
That's kind of, to me, I want to see that they learn the program, learn the system, learn how to play basketball, make a better member for society, because we're all going to have to work with them and live with them when they get out of high school. That's kind of what I'm judging this year. You can't win games unless you, number one, have players and athletes that can win them for you. You don't win a game. I've never won a game. I lose them all. I take all the losses, and they take all the wins because I ain't scored a point.
The tough part here is that you are coming off an 18-win season, which followed a 20-win season, which followed a 16-win season, and then even the COVID year, you went 12-1, and then your first year it was 22-4. So since you've been at East Carteret, winning has been a big part of it, and even if things don't go that way this year, which probably won't, it'll be a different test for you as a coach than it's been for a long time.
Oh yeah, mentally, it's going. When I was at Havelock and we would always start the season off without the football players, and
Sure.
we'd lose 3, 4, 5 games. I would go in questioning like, do I know what the hell I'm doing? And now I'll still go through that. Like, do I know? And it ain't so much knowing the game. I know that. It's you got to know how to get the players you've got now to operate for you, how to connect with them. I connected with my group in basketball my first year because I was their baseball coach year before. We won the conference in baseball. So they already knew me as a coach. They knew how I operated. I knew how they operated. It's just a different sport.
Well, the reason you're starting over from scratch, pretty much, you lose basically the whole team, especially Shamel Baker and Charles Matheka, who are going to go down as 2 of the probably
Hall of Famers.
top 10 players in East Carteret history. They led you all to 4 straight titles in the conference. You've actually won 5 in a row. You all were 37-3 in conference with them in uniform. You were 66-23 overall. Shamel almost caught Jock Brown for the all-time leading scorer in school history with over 2,000 points. Charles had over 1,600. You just keep going and going and going, right?
Yeah. Blessed is all I can say. Blessed to be their coach. I compared this year coming up to their sophomore year. Their freshman year, Charles didn't play a lot. He was behind Henry Tillett. Benny was on that team, Mason Rose. Those guys were out there, and Shamel was a freshman. He got the most playing time out of those two. The next year, I had those two plus Cole Jernigan, and they were all sophomores. So I was really starting over with them, a group of sophomores, and I don't think we were I don't think people viewed us as a conference champion because we had such young guys, and they had enough basketball knowledge and just knew what to do that I didn't have to lay a foundation with them.
Sure.
We could kind of pick up from where we left off, and then we ended up winning the conference that year with a bunch of sophomores, which was pretty exciting for me because it was really a year that was like, okay, now they're young, they're talented, but they're still young. What can we do? And, of course, their talent helped us out. I think we made it to the third round that year. That was the first year we played Farmville Central. And then, of course, after you win them with a sophomore year, junior, senior year, if you don't win anything, you didn't accomplish anything.
Sure.
It was a total, in my opinion, it was a total loss.
Your wins when they were junior seniors was more relief than happiness, probably, right?
Correct. Yeah, 100%. The wins as a sophomore year was like, okay, we're earning it, we're doing it. And then the next year, and we had new groups every year. Like 3, 4, 5, 6 guy was always new because we always had seniors that come in, and their talent kind of carried them through. I can't remember tell you how many times I used to fuss at Charles in practice or in a game. He would throw a pass to a kid that was not ready. It was the right pass. It was the right time. It was the right area. It was just not the right time to throw it to that person because they hadn't played with them long enough to understand Charles is going to throw me this pass. And it would end up in a turnover, and I would light him up, and he would come with his hands out, and I'd be like, look, it's right, but it's wrong right now.
In this situation, yeah.
We get in the conference and then roll on, and those catches, then passes started getting caught, turning into layups, and I was like, you understand now? He's like, I totally get it. Totally get it. And now he's at college playing at Wake Tech, and he's throwing those passes, and them guys know what to do with it. So it's a learning experience. It's I just take it as a challenge. I like challenges.
For sure.
I remember the first time I was telling somebody this morning. The first time you interviewed me when I was at East was at West Carteret.
Sure.
And at halftime, I was kind of irritated, or not halftime, but your comment kind of irritated me. It kind of sparked me a little bit, and it was something along the lines of like, man, you had some really good changes in what you were doing the first half. We lost that game by 3 points.
Well, yeah, I'm a pretty good, yeah.
And I was like, and you were like, I was kind of looking at Zack like, what? And you're like, well, I mean, that Havelock, you had all these athletes. I was like, yeah, but they still got to be coached. Like, I know what I was doing. It's, I can't believe I was just taken back. Like, I was surprised that you didn't give me that much credit to know what I was doing.
I didn't know. I didn't know who
the horses that Havelock.
I didn't. Yeah. You had different. Yeah, the Kyron Bowmans of the world, and we don't make them like that here in Carteret County. No, but yeah.
So I've always, and after that, I was kind of like, all right, I don't want anybody to think that of me again. Like I don't.
We didn't know you, Daniel. We know you now.
Shaq says we weren't familiar with your game.
I didn't want somebody to be like, oh, he just,
Havelock was a different world. We didn't know that.
You put somebody else in my position in the last 5 years, they're going to win. Now, will they win 5 straight conference championships? I have no idea. They're definitely going to win because you have great players that came through there.
Well, let's talk real quick about the roster you've got and what you've seen so far. You've been with them now, 3 weeks or so?
Yeah.
And have you scrimmaged? You haven't.
No, football really messed that up. It took me back to and I'm used to the football trend of Havelock going a long ways, and I don't get my main guys until December, just like what you witnessed over there if you went to the West Carteret game. I am used to that. Mentally, I've been through that many times. It's not a big deal. It is frustrating when I had the JV guys for 2 weeks, and I feel like I'm training them, and I'm not going to be with them. I'm going to be with the varsity guys. So I've actually had my guys today is Thursday. I've had them for 3 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm playing West Carteret on Friday night. And they're like, why are you playing West Carteret first? Well, we're supposed to play Ocracoke on the 15th. And the state pushed playoffs back because of the hurricane.
Right.
Totally get it, understand it, but it's just what you do. So we are going to be practicing while we are playing a legitimate game Friday night against West Carteret. And I've done it many times. Put it on the fly, try and watch film, try and show them.
But a lot of times you knew what you had, from the people that were coming or that weren't there.
Like I kind of knew, and I knew what was coming this year as far as coming up from JV.
Right.
and I kind of knew what was coming out from football that didn't play last year. But you don't understand. It doesn't matter what you do. A lot of people want to be the head coach of whatever sport. They don't understand what it is until you're standing there on the sideline. You can have all the great ideas. You can get them in the gym. You can work them out in the summer every day. You can have all this great ideas. And until you're standing there on that sideline on Friday night, you don't understand until you're there. And then you're trying to get a kid to perform under the lights.
A 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Sure.
Packed house.
My job is dependent on a 15 to 18-year-old kid doing something right when you got a packed house, families, rivalries, the old guys come back.
Boy, that first game is going to be a baptism by fire.
Yeah, we're throwing them in the fire and going.
It's gonna be loud. You're gonna lose, and it's gonna be hard.
Nerves. I mean, it's just.
But you will learn from it.
Whatever. So.
Yeah.
You're building the plane as you fly it this year, right?
Yeah. And I've done it before. I've just never done it with a group that literally never played.
That's the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So for them as players, that's
guys are not even JV guys, right?
Right.
They didn't even play JV.
Yeah. Daniel Rice, a senior, I begged him to play last year. Had him in class. He wouldn't play. Luke McIntosh, he tried out one day and he couldn't make it work with his schedule, so he couldn't play last year. And now I got Carter Styron. Great kid. Tried to get him to play last year so they would have some knowledge, and for whatever reason they just wouldn't play. Back before last year, the kids wouldn't play because they thought they had to be as good as Charles and Schmel. And then they weren't, so they're like, well, we're not good enough. No, you are.
Right.
They do the heavy lifting. You just go play basketball.
Sure.
But they didn't want to do that. Everybody wants to be Charles and Schmel or Kyron or
wow.
Benny. And another thing people don't understand is you don't know what it's like to be those kids, to carry that weight. You're carrying me. You're carrying your teammates. You're carrying your parents. You're carrying your family. Carrying the cousins that played on the state championship team. You're carrying all that weight with you on top of having to score 2,000 career points, 1,600 points, living up to those expectations. That's a lot for a kid.
It's a lot.
And most people want to be in that spot. But I think once people get in, like at my position or in their position, you really don't want to be in there.
Well, plus when you do play early, whether you're going to get that much playing time or not, it makes such a big difference. I mean, look how much better Sean Walker got. Look how much better Brady Dones got. Look how much Jaden Watson has gotten. You don't have to be a star right off the bat.
No, and you ain't, and nobody's asking you to be
right.
1,000-point scorer.
Give us 4 points and 2 rebounds.
I want you to come out and go hard and do what I say. And I tell them all the time, like, I got 2 hours. There's 24 hours in a day. 22 of them are yours and 2 of them are mine. You can do whatever you want for those other 22 hours. But those 2 hours, it's business. You come to work, we do our job, and we go home. That's it. That's all I ask of you.
And what's the conference looking like, you think?
Listen.
Pamlico lost a lot too, right?
Well, no. Pamlico has everybody back except for a couple of kids. But I'm hearing that a lot of the kids got in trouble. They missed a lot of days of school.
Okay.
And stuff like that. The football team, it was an example of it. So I don't know. Anytime I hear like, oh, this team's not good or this team's lost this or
you don't believe it.
I don't believe it. I've been in it too long. Like I can't tell you how many times when I was at Havelock or even at East, oh, this kid's don't like the coach. He's coming to you. Oh, this kid don't like it. Their parents are moving to Havelock or their parents are moving to. And I'm like, I'll get texts like through the summer. Oh, this kid. I just talked to this kid's mom. They're coming to East. Don't tell me that stuff. I believe it on August the 25th when they walk through the doors.
Yep.
And every year that's happened. You can call Jack Garrison right now. He'll tell you. He sat there at Havelock and told me that Jack was going to come play at Havelock. But I didn't tell him, like, yeah, bring him, because it's illegal.
Sure.
I'm just sitting there like, okay, like, whatever. Jack Garrison never played at Havelock. And Big Jack will tell you, like, I wish I'd have brought him. I wish I'd have brought him to you. But I didn't tell him. And I don't believe any of that. So I don't really know what the conference looks like.
You'll know it when you see it.
Yeah. It's the same. It's one of them chapters in the book that's not been written.
I got you.
Yeah.
Coach, good luck to you this year. We'll be out there covering you.
All right. Sounds good.